Right now at 5, authorities filed charges against 2 people in a police chase turned car crash in Joplin.
And it's going to be another hot and sunny day across the area. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, what you might not know about the process for electing a president in your state.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Friday.
Oh, that's what kind of day it's going to be.
I don't know what kind of day it's going to be, but it's Friday. That means the weekend right around the corner. We just got to push through one more day this week. And I just want to remind you, it is October the 4th. It is not September the 4th or August the 4th, even though the temperatures lately certainly felt like it. It is not, but you probably didn't hear that at home, but I picked this up and it scraped and it was like fingernails on a chalkboard. Yeah. Man, that was bad. Okay, well, let's take a look outside. No more fingernails on chalkboards. This is a live look from our camera downtown Pittsburgh. Looking pretty good this morning. Skies are clear and winds are relatively light out there. Same from our camera at 7th and Range Line. So we'll head over to the MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line, and well, look. It looks good. Nobody on the road yet. And from the KDOT camera, 69 East 520th Avenue, got somebody heading north out there. Otherwise, we're looking really good so far. Now, there's something today that at least in the last 2.5 years I've been doing the weather here on the morning show, we have not had in our area. It's an air quality alert. So we've got air quality alerts for Washington, Newada, and Craig counties in northeastern Oklahoma. Now, looking at this map, these yellow dots out there at these monitoring stations are all reporting moderate air quality, but this is for today. So they ask, don't mow the lawn, don't drive as much, carpool if you can. Anything to reduce ozone levels at the surface because it's not good for sensitive groups, those with respiratory problems, and it can actually damage vegetation. So do keep that in mind this morning for parts of northeastern Oklahoma. And of course, keep in mind that we do have moderate air quality across the area today. We've got future track showing again 10, 15 degrees above normal out there. Southwest winds, not much going on, unfortunately, as we head into the afternoon and evening hours. 65 in Joplin, 63 in Pittsburgh. We're on the average about 10 to 12 degrees above normal. Just outside of our area is that cold front. Now, again, it's not going to do much for us, but it is on its way. We've got some upper 50s and then low, mid, and upper 60s as we get the day started. Quick look at that bus stop forecast. Sunny, 65, south breeze 5 to 10. Winds will shift out of the southwest later this morning. Still at 5 to 10, sunny, 90 when the kids come back home. And like yesterday, with the exception of the winds, sunny skies, upper 80s and low 90s out there. Now, the heat continues into our Saturday. There are a few changes in the long-range forecast. We're going to go over all that for you here in just a few more minutes. Elise? All
right, thanks, Chris. Well, Joplin police released new information on a crash stemming from a traffic stop Wednesday, including fresh charges. Officers tried to stop the vehicle when they suspected the driver was intoxicated. Police pursued the vehicle, but the chase ended when the vehicle crashed into another one at the intersection of 20th and Connecticut. The driver of the other vehicle suffered minor injuries. Police arrested both the driver and the passenger in the fleeing vehicle. Authorities say the driver, Dakota Bell of Alba, Missouri, is formally charged with Valentine's Law, which is aggravated fleeing a stop in addition to felony DWI and persistent and felony possession of drug paraphernalia. The passenger, Jessica Van Kirk of Webb City, was arrested on active felony probation violation warrants for drug-related charges. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Voters head to the polls on November 5th to decide the next president. But on Election Day, are you really voting for a candidate or are you voting for a party? KOAM Samantha Walker talked with the Missouri Secretary of State to learn more about how the process of electing a president works.
When we vote in November, we will be voting to decide which party gets to choose our president. Is really what happens.
As voters head to the polls this November, their votes will help decide the next president of the United States. Some states, such as Missouri and Kansas, list only the presidential candidates on their ballots. Others, like Oklahoma, make it clear that voters are technically selecting the electors who participate in the Electoral College. Voters are not truly voting for the next commander-in-chief. Those electors were selected by their political party in each state, whether it be Democrat, Republican, or Independent.
If you vote for Kamala Harris, then what you're really doing is you're voting to allow the Democrat presidential electors for Missouri to vote. If you vote for Donald Trump, then you're really voting to allow the Republican presidential electors to vote.
To win, a presidential ticket must receive 270 votes from the electors. Arkansas and Kansas both have 6. Oklahoma has 7, and Missouri gets 10 electoral votes. All 4 are winner-take-all states. This means all their Electoral College votes will go to the candidate who wins the popular vote in that state. The Electoral College will meet December 17th to select the next president and vice president of the United States of America. Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Well, next week, we'll continue our conversation with Secretary Ashcroft, learning more about how election results are certified. The city of Girard is working on a project to create safer, more walkable sidewalks. They plan to repair sidewalks, build new ones, and create ramps. They want to make the sidewalks ADA compliant and safe for all residents, including people who use wheelchairs or have other disabilities.
Kids particularly walking from school to wherever they need to go, the library after school or just even home. And people in wheelchairs especially, they'll have, the ramps will be there and the sidewalks will be wider to accommodate them.
The locations they plan to work on include West St. John Street and West Prairie Street. Well, yesterday, area first responders and medical personnel had a different kind of event to respond to, a free lunch. Now, the event took place right here outside the KOAM studio, and we were proud to host some honored guests for a simple little cookout as just a small token of our appreciation for everything they do for the community.
Agency is doing this first responder appreciation because it's so easy to forget every day that we've got people working around the clock that are serving and protecting us. And so today is just an opportunity to be able to just celebrate them, to thank them, and let them know that we're very much appreciative of all that they do.
In addition to the free lunch, first responders from around the area also got a little tour of our studio and building. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Well, high school football tries to remain undefeated. We'll have those details. Plus, an Italian family trying to prove the authenticity of a Picasso painting they found more than 60 years ago. And we have another hot and sunny day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Sky Watch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Well, Pittsburgh State football has its Hall of Fame game this Saturday against Missouri Western. It's the only team that beat the Gorillas in 2023 regular season, but PSU comes into this game refreshed after the first of its 2 bye weeks.
I think it kind of had a big part on our mental. I think we actually took a lot of time getting ready physically and mentally, obviously. It was a big part in taking care of our bodies. I think it's going to help in the long run. And obviously we get another bye week. I think we're going to take advantage of that too.
Just a sense of urgency. I mean, I think everyone knew, coming off that Washburn game, we had a lot to clean up. So spent a couple days just kind of focusing on us. Not a new opponent yet as the staff kind of started to prepare for Mo West and just kind of dove back into some fundamentals in all 3 phases and obviously got some guys healthy and then really started to kind of dive into Mo West towards the end of last week.
Meanwhile, Pittsburgh State volleyball was in action last night. The Gorillas fall to Washburn 3-1. They're back in action tonight at Emporia State. Miami High School softball has a great chance to win a regional championship after the Lady War Dogs won their opener Wednesday. They need to win just 1 game in 2 tries to become regional champions. Miami looking to win a regional championship for the 3rd straight year. Lady War Dogs facing Ulaga In the circle for Miami is Danae Green. She was on her game as she pitched a complete 7 innings, 4 strikeouts, and only gave up 1 hit on the afternoon. Green keeps her team in a close game. The Lady War Dogs found themselves in a rubber match. So we go to the 3rd inning, couple of runners on base for Hayden Pilkington. She hits this ball off the shortstop's glove. That RBI single gets Lady War Dogs on the board. Miami leading 1-0. So we go to the final inning of the game. Danae Green closes this one out, and it's an infield pop-up, and that's the ball game. Miami completes the shutout. Lady War Dogs win 1-0 and are crowned regional champs once again.
These are the games that we prepare for all year. We preach pitching and defense. Our big postseason games in the past have been 1-2 run games, and so all year practice-wise, that's what we're preaching. Pitching and defense. And yesterday we felt really fortunate to come out and have a really good offensive day, but totally expecting 1-2 run game. And so when it happens, it's normal. They didn't catch us by surprise.
Meanwhile, in Class 2A regionals, those took place last week. That means we're on to Super Regionals. Commerce and Fairland were both in action yesterday afternoon. We're going to start with Fairland. Lady Owls host Howe. These Super Regionals are best of 3, with the first 2 games coming on day 1. Lady Owls fall to Howe 3-2 in the opener, but they win game 2 5-4. So the winner-take-all game 3 is this afternoon in Fairland. Commerce is down in Stroud in an all-Tiger battle for this regional. Commerce drops game 1 10-3, then in the elimination game falls 11-1. Still a great year for Commerce, who won their regional to get to this point. Welch on its home field for some Thursday night football. The Wildcats are 4-0 facing the Billings Bulldogs. Opening drive of the game, Mason Clinton takes the snap, rolls out to his left, and ends up just walking into the end zone with ease. Wildcats take a 6-0 lead after scoring on the first drive. Defensively, Welch gets after the quarterback. Brody Smith has nowhere to escape, and he gets sandwiched between defenders. Cash Tucker and Cole Lynch take him down for the sack. Next Welch drive, Clinton completes the short pass to Cash Tucker, who just had the sack, and here he is running away from defenders after a long catch-and-run touchdown. Wildcats extend their lead 14-0. But the defense would continue to stay strong. High snap here. It's Cash Tucker and Cole Lynch once again, who combine for a sack. A couple plays later, it's 4th and long. Cash Tucker cashes in on another quarterback sack. That's a turnover on downs. Welch has the football again. This time Mason Clinton rolls to his right, but has nowhere to go until he reverses the field and gets loose again for another touchdown run. Wildcats win big, 48-0. Welch improves to 5-0 on the season. Still to come, we're going to see why scientists say warmer temperatures are causing the allergy season to last longer. Plus, another look at your forecast and those hot temperatures when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 5:18 on this Friday morning, and we do have air quality alerts for Washington, Craig, and the Wada counties in northeastern Oklahoma for today. So that means that the ozone levels at the surface are going to be at unhealthy levels, and the steps you can take to help reduce that, don't mow the lawn. Try to carpool if you can. Don't drive unless it's necessary, because this is going to cause issues for those that have respiratory issues, and it could also result in damage to vegetation. Now, other monitoring stations in our region, you see those yellow dots putting the air quality across the area as moderate, so you do need to keep that in mind if you've got some outdoor plans later today. The future track has no plans in terms of precipitation, at least over the next couple of days, other than the fact that it's going to be warm. We're going to have southwest winds out there about 5 to 10 miles an hour, so not as windy as yesterday, but the winds will return for our Saturday. Another mild overnight for us as well, and by Saturday, another day of temperatures 10 to 15 degrees above normal, and we'll have those southerly winds gusting upwards of 20 miles an hour at times. So if you're traveling east-west highways, got some weekend plans, just keep in mind it's going to be breezy, and similar to what we've seen, those winds won't really ease up until later in the day. And we have another boundary, another little cold front's going to push through by Sunday Sunday morning. You can see the wind shift, and it doesn't really do a lot for temperatures. It does cool us back a little, but we will still be upwards of 10, 12 degrees above normal for many of us as we head into our Sunday afternoon. Right now, Joplin skies are clear, 65, south breeze at 8. Dew point humidity up a little bit, which is good because the air has been extraordinarily dry the last few days. There's that boundary off to our north and west. Again, won't do much for us, but there it is. We've got temperatures, big mix of them. We've got upper 50s and we go low, mid, and some upper 60s out there as well, but all of us above normal as we get this Friday underway. Starting our day, a bit mild out there, mid-60s, sunny skies. We'll go into the low 80s by 11 o'clock, and our highs today looking to be very similar to what we saw yesterday as we go back into the upper 80s and low 90s out there with sunny skies. Then we'll head into the evening hours, and well, it's the same thing, except instead of the sun, it goes down, and then we'll be left with the stars, but still clear skies and above normal temperatures, 10, 12 degrees above normal overnight tonight, falling back into the low 60s. Now, some good news on some of the long-range data. It's not great news, but it's good news. We are looking at moisture increasing. So even though our temperatures are going to warm back up next week, moisture levels are going to increase just a bit, and that might trigger a few pop-up showers and thunderstorms. So you can see the chances, unfortunately, are low. But you know, honestly, these are the first chances of any kind of rain we have had in quite some time, so we'll definitely take it. Still looking at some slightly better rain chances sometime in the next couple of weeks, but at least we've got something showing up out there, despite the fact we're still going to be hot. That's a check of your forecast. We will be back with Health Watch right after this.
Well, topping Health Watch this morning, California is investigating its first 2 possible human cases of bird flu. According to the California Department of Health, there are no apparent links between the 2 cases. Now, they both had contact with infected cattle, but worked at different dairy farms in the Central Valley. Now, both worker symptoms are said to be mild, and the state health department says the risk to the general public is low. The worker specimens will be sent to the CDC for confirmatory testing. At least 14 human cases of bird flu have been identified in the U.S. since March, and nearly all have been in workers who had direct contact with infected animals. Well, temperatures are getting cooler, but that doesn't mean allergy season is quite over. Some scientists say lingering warmer temperatures are causing the allergy season to start earlier and last longer. That in turn delays the first frost, giving plants that releases allergens more time to grow. Other experts say higher levels of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere further drive plant growth, generating even more pollen. Well, more people in the U.S. are living to 100, including former President Jimmy Carter, who hit that milestone on Tuesday. Ideas and ways to live a longer, healthier, happier, and stronger continue to evolve. But experts say there are ways to boost your chance of becoming 100 years old. Mandy Gaither has more on how to live healthier for longer.
It's a milestone more are reaching, and the number of people who hit 100 in the U.S. is expected to more than quadruple over the next 30 years. But when it comes to living healthier for longer, experts say age is more than a number. Instead, aging is marked by metabolism changes, cells no longer replicating, stem cell exhaustion, meaning they aren't replenishing as quickly, and declining immunity.
Each one of those hallmarks of aging, as they're called, is a potential area for intervention, where you could actually extend lifespan by focusing on those things.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta says that while we do age a little every day, studies show there are bursts of molecular changes that accelerate aging, and he says they happen when a person's around 44 years old and again around 60 years old.
Those things start to change primarily at those ages. So those are ages where you should really start to pay attention to aging more than you normally do.
The CDC says healthy aging means making good lifestyle decisions and developing healthy habits. That includes nutrition, having a healthy, balanced diet, keeping our minds stimulated, getting enough sleep, staying physically active and socially connected and engaged with others, and managing stress. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
And the CDC also says living a longer, healthy life includes keeping up with a healthcare routine that includes regular health checkups, receiving vaccines and screenings, and managing any chronic health conditions. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got another above normal day out there for us, sunny and dry. We'll have a look at your forecast when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, Fort Scott Community College hosts a celebration for one of the city's famous sons.
And we've got ourselves another somewhat mild start to the day, another hot and sunny day ahead of us. So look at that forecast, get you out the doors coming up.
Plus, the 41st annual Grand Lake Pelican Festival takes flight in Grove, Oklahoma this week.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's Friday, October the 4th. We're almost to the weekend. We've just about made it. Hopefully you got some good plans for the weekend, even though it's going to be a bit on the warm side.
Right.
You can at least get outdoors and enjoy. Yep, might as well. Or maybe you got stuff you need to get done around the house. I mentioned, earlier this week, I still need to clean the gutters out.
Well,
I might do that this weekend. Maybe.
Yeah.
But like I said, though, that's the only benefit right now that the temperatures being the way they are is it's not been overly muggy, so it's been pretty decent to get some work done if you need to. So maybe you could take advantage of that this weekend, or maybe you'll just take advantage of sitting on the porch enjoying the weather. Right now, Pittsburgh, our camera downtown, looking pretty good. Skies are clear this morning. As we head over to our camera, 7th and Range Line in Joplin. We're also looking fairly good over there as well. We'll head down south to the MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line. And again, looking good. No traffic. Well, there's some cars, but not the traffic that we usually see like 12 hours from now, for example. People heading home, it's going to get packed. KDOT camera 69 East 520th Avenue also looking good. And as mentioned, we do have air quality alerts we want to remind you about for Washington, Craig, and the Nevada counties in Oklahoma for today. We've got moderate air quality at a number of reporting stations around the area. So again, if you are in one of those sensitive groups or if you have respiratory issues, just take it easy. Maybe stay indoors where you can. For those of us otherwise, don't mow the yard, maybe carpool if you can. Do what you can to reduce ozone emissions here at the surface level. Future track into this afternoon, we'll have southwest winds around 5 to 10 miles an hour. Otherwise, it's another day of clear, sunny skies and temperatures pushing another 10, 15 degrees above normal out there. Already 10 degrees or so above normal, 65 in Joplin, 63 in Pittsburgh. There's that cold front, won't do much for us, but it is out there. This morning, we've got some upper 50s and then we have low mid 60s as we get this Friday underway. So again, nowhere near where we are supposed to be. Kids getting on the bus this morning, clear skies and mid 60s, south wind 5 to 10. And later this morning, those winds will shift out of the southwest, pushing about 90 when the bus brings the kids home. No gusty winds expected today, but they do return tomorrow. Sunny, and again, just straight up hot, upper 80s and low 90s. The heat continues into our Saturday. Get a little cold front in here again through the weekend that will temporarily drop temperatures. We'll talk about that and maybe some rain chances on the horizon here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right. Thanks, Chris. Yesterday, 40 students from Pittsburgh Community Middle School's Builders Club spread rubber mulch around the playground at the Franklin Community Park. Before yesterday, the playground surface was wood. The park hopes this effort will create a safer play surface for children who come to enjoy the playground.
Community service is just worth its weight in gold. These kids gain things that you don't get from a textbook or from a lesson in the classroom. The rewards are just so different. It's just really good to get them out here, and it's fun to see what they take away from it, and then hopefully plant that seed to grow that they continue to do it in life.
Now, the mulch was obtained through a grant from Kansas Health Foundation Children's Fund through Community Foundation of Southeast Kansas. The Gordon Parks Museum celebration took place at Fort Scott Community College in Kansas yesterday. Parks grew up in Fort Scott and is remembered as the first African-American photographer to work with Vogue and Life magazines. Now, he's also known as a writer and for his documentary work during the Civil Rights Movement. Family and friends gathered in the Fine Arts Building to help bring awareness to his legacy. An acquaintance of Parks says he was excited to see someone who looked like him during his years in college.
schools. Our history is being threatened to be told in a way other people really want it to be told. So we need to know about not just him, but the stories he covered.
This celebration runs through Saturday. Members of the Carthage High School swim team took a trip over to Mark Twain Elementary School to help some third graders dive into a good book. Now, the team took the opportunity to read to the kiddos before heading off to compete in the Carthage Invitational. The trip to Mark Twain brought back some fond memories for some team members.
It's kind of neat to come back to the old school and see the kids that are going through and read to them and tell them kind of like my experience in elementary school and leading on my way up to high school and the sport of swimming.
Now, thanks to the nice weather, the team members were able to take the kiddos and the books outside the classroom. Well, there are plenty of pumpkin farms to visit this fall, but there is one that stands out. Rock Barn, a pumpkin farm, features a 150-year-old rock barn as well as hay rides, fall flowers, apple cider, and of course, pumpkins.
Well, the first year, I just decided I wanted to grow some of the weird ones I couldn't find, and then that spiraled out of control, and I kept growing more and more, and now I can't use them all.
Rock Barn Pumpkin Farm is open every weekend now till October 13th and again on October 20th. The 41st annual Grand Lake Pelican Festival takes flight in Grove, Oklahoma this week. The event celebrates the annual fall migration of the American white pelicans' return to Grand Lake, the Cherokees. Now, the three-day event kicked off last night with a carnival.
I came to ride the roundup, and I wanted to get some funnel cakes and bring my son down here to ride some rides.
The event will also include a Miss Pelican Festival pageant, a parade, a car show, and arts and crafts, food vendors, and more fun for the whole family. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. An American bomb from World War II explodes at a Japanese airport, canceling more than 80 flights. Plus, Israel's military has now issued evacuation orders for over 20 villages. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Topping World Watch, a family in Italy is hoping to prove the authenticity of a discarded artistic masterpiece they found more than 60 years ago. The LaRusso family stumbled upon the painting in a pile of trash at a villa in Capri. One of the family members, a junk dealer, was hired to discard the contents in the home. And there he found the painting hanging in the villa's family room. Years later, that man's son, Andrea LaRusso, decided to investigate the painting's authenticity. After decades of dead ends regarding the origins of the painting, LaRusso believes that a recent battery of tests done by the Swiss-based Arcadia Foundation finally proves that the paintings is the work of famed artist Pablo Picasso. Now, LaRusso says if the painting is proven to be real, his family will have to figure out how to sell it, as interest in the piece of artwork has spiked. An American bomb from World War II explodes at a Japanese airport on Wednesday. 500-pound unexploded bomb was buried underneath the Miyazaki airport in southwestern Japan. The explosion caused a large crater in a taxiway and forced the cancellation of more than 80 flights. Luckily, no one was injured, and airport officials confirmed there was no further damage. The airport confirmed the taxiway damage has been fixed and flights resumed yesterday morning. Investigators are working to determine what caused the detonation. Miyazaki Airport was built in 1943 and was used as an Imperial Japanese Naval flight training field. According to the Japan Ministry of Defense, a number of unexploded U.S. bombs from World War II still remain in the area. Well, Israel is not letting up on its strikes into Lebanon and is urging residents in over 20 towns to evacuate their homes immediately. An Israeli strike in central Beirut killed at least 9 people overnight. Rebecca Castor reports the Middle East is on the brink of a wider war as Israel's war cabinet prepares to respond to Iran's aggressive missile attack launched on Tuesday.
Loud blasts in central Beirut on Wednesday as Israel targets Lebanon's capital city. The strike hit a large apartment building that houses Hezbollah-affiliated first responders. At least 9 were killed. Israel is focused on taking out Hezbollah strongholds, but their ongoing strikes in Lebanon have killed more than 1,000 and injured dozens. Hospitals are overwhelmed.
There's no place safe in Lebanon now.
Israel's military has now issued evacuation orders for over 20 villages in southern Lebanon, signaling a larger ground attack is imminent. And Israel's war cabinet also has its sights set to the east after Iran launched its largest attack ever on the Jewish state Tuesday.
Those who attack us will face serious consequences. For every missile fired, we will respond with strength.
Stateside lawmakers are debating how Israel should respond and whether it should target Iran's nuclear facilities.
Support an attack on Iran's nuclear sites by Israel?
The answer is no. They have a right to respond, but they should respond in proportion.
It makes zero sense to me why Biden would take Iran's nuclear facilities off the table publicly. Why is it so hard to say all options are on the table and we stand with our ally Israel to support itself?
It's been nearly a year since Israel went to war following the October 7th attack by Hamas. With that anniversary coming up, the FBI says its agency is fully engaged to prevent any attacks on U.S. soil.
And that's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 5:45 on this Friday morning. We are starting with something that, again, as I mentioned earlier, at least in my 2.5 years doing the weather on the morning show, we've not had in our area, is air quality alerts for Washington, Newada, and Craig counties through today in northeastern Oklahoma. So again, this is for anybody who may not be familiar, because this is, again, not something common for our area. It's when ozone starts to build up near the surface levels. That can cause issues for people with respiratory problems, and it can also damage vegetation. So the recommendations are, not mowing your yard, reducing your emissions as much as possible, carpool if you can. But you can see a few of the reporting stations around our area also reporting moderate air quality outside of that zone. So if you do have some issues, some respiratory issues, and you're out, just maybe try and limit your time outside. With those light winds, it's what's causing the buildup of ozone at the surface. And as you see on the future track, really not much out there. No clouds, no rain. Winds will not be nearly as breezy as they were yesterday, but they'll pick back up tomorrow. They'll be out in the southwest about 5 to 10 miles an hour today. We'll hold on to temperatures today. 10 to 15 degrees above normal. We'll be 10 to 12 degrees above normal tonight. We'll be 10 to 15 above normal again as we head into our Saturday, but the winds again will return. So southerly breezes occasionally gusting upwards of 20 miles an hour. And similar to what we've seen, of course, once we get a little later into the evening, we start to see those winds begin to kind of calm down a bit. Here comes a cold front. Here it is by Sunday morning at 5, but you can see other than the wind shifting, it really doesn't do much. It does bring our temperatures a few degrees cooler for our Sunday, but we are still 10 degrees or so above normal as we head into our Sunday afternoon. And we'll just simply have a northerly wind now, and again, not be as hot as we have been, especially up north. It'll be maybe only a few degrees above normal, but it still doesn't make a significant impact for us. Sitting at 65 in Joplin right now, south breeze at about 8 miles an hour and clear skies. There's that cold front there on the temperature map. Around the region, we do still have some upper 50s in our southern counties, and then outside of that, most of us are in the low to mid 60s to start our Friday, which puts us about 10 degrees above normal out there. Got that mild start, not bad in the first part of the morning. Sunny skies and southwesterly winds warm us up, low 80s by 11 o'clock. As we head into the afternoon, again, highs upper 80s, low 90s, very similar to what we had yesterday with plentiful sunshine. Clear skies as we head through the evening and overnight hours, falling back once again into the low 60s. And then we'll stay hot again tomorrow, low 90s, mid 80s. We're a little closer to normal on Monday, not significantly so, but a little bit. We do start to warm up next week, but we're looking at some moisture returning to the area. It will make it feel a little muggy, but it does also bring us at least some slight chances for some isolated showers and storms, and anything at this point is better than nothing. That's checking your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Well, Alec Baldwin's controversial Western Rust will finally get its world premiere, and Daniel Day-Lewis comes out of retirement. Rick Damagella has more in the Hollywood Minute.
The Alec Baldwin film Rust is set to make its debut. The Western will premiere at the Energa Camera Image Festival in Poland. The news comes nearly 3 years after cinematographer Helena Hutchins was killed in a shooting incident on the film's set. The event is scheduled for November 23rd.
We're not altering the future. We're just giving it a little makeover.
Horror heads back in time. A teenager travels back to 2003 to prevent the murder of her older sister in the new thriller Time Cut. This is the first look at the freaky flick, which lands on Netflix just in time for Halloween on October 30th. Daniel Day-Lewis comes out of retirement. The Oscar-winning actor will make his big screen return in a film directed by his son Ronan. The pair co-wrote the upcoming Anemone, which marks Day-Lewis's first project in 7 years. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Well, an Arizona couple visited all national parks in the country. Dominique Newland takes us to meet the amazing pair.
Daryl and Kathleen Tupkin, longtime Arizona residents, have reached a major milestone, visiting all 431 national park units across the U.S., a journey that started back in the 80s.
We did a westward camping trip with our dogs, and we went out to Nevada and California for a 7-week trip, and we started hitting national parks. We went up to the Redwoods.
They began traveling with their puppies in a tent trailer in 2004, and that's when the ball got rolling. Journeys that have taken them all over the U.S., to Puerto Rico, even the Virgin Islands.
Once we had gone to a few and we started going to a few more, we made the mistake of making a list. And I'll say never give my husband a list, because once you have a list, you have to get to everything on the list.
Taking the couple over 20 years to complete, you may think, why do they do this? They say it's a great way to explore the country and stumble upon places you may have never considered visiting.
I do have favorites, but honestly, it's really the next park that you come and visit, in my book, is my favorite, because you never know what you're going to come across.
Over 100,000 miles of driving, flying, even helicopter and tiny seaplanes later. The husband and wife say it's been an adventure of a lifetime, one that started almost 37 years ago.
People think of Yellowstone and Yosemite and forests and woods, Acadia. But really, if you look at all the national park units, there's like a bunch that are national battlefields. There's wild and scenic rivers. There's national seashores.
And one they can check off the bucket list once and for all.
Absolutely amazing. Stick around. We'll be right back. Well, Fat Bear Week is here, and 12 brown bears that live on the Alaskan Peninsula are packing on the pound so they can come out victorious. Now, voting began Wednesday in the annual contest at Alaska's Katmai National Park and Preserve, but there is still time for you to vote. Now, the contest celebrates the resilience of the 2,200 brown bears that live in the preserve. The bears feast on sockeye salmon all summer in preparation for hibernation. This year's contest features 12 bears, and voters can choose who they think should be the winner. 4 bears have moved on to the next round, and the winner will face off with the reigning champion Chunk, a 1,200-pound bear that once ate 42 salmon in 10 hours. Wow. Well, as the end of the work week, today is a very sweet day, and this Friday is especially sweet because it's National Cinnamon Bun Day, observed every year on October 4th. The origins of this Scandinavian pastry are disputed. According to the Sussex Kitchen, the Swedes claim the cinnamon bun was born in their country in the 1920s. However, people in pretty much every other Nordic nation will likely say their country was the birthplace. The cinnamon bun goes by many different names in different nations. In English, it goes by names including bunny, swirl, and snail.
I don't think I've ever heard those 3 names for a cinnamon bun. I've never gone up and asked for a snail from the local bakery. But hey, you know what? That's what it says. So somebody out there must have said it, right? Well, it's going to be a good day to enjoy a cinnamon bun inside where it's a little cooler. Not bad to start. Mid-60s out there. Sunny skies will be in the low 80s by 11 o'clock this morning. Southwest winds at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Temperatures 10 to 15 degrees above normal. Upper 80s and low 90s again. And of course, that leads us to clear skies this evening and overnight, and another night, 10 some odd degrees above normal as well as we fall back into the low 60s. Heat is on again tomorrow. Breezy, south winds gusting to 20, low 90s, mid 80s Sunday, low 80s Monday. Then the temperatures start to heat up again next week, and also we see some moisture return. It may make it feel a little muggy, but at least we've got some kind of chance of rain, even though it's very small as we head into the next work week. That's checking your forecast. We'll be back with more right after this.